I wanted to give sort of a quick review of eBay's new watch authentication program. There seems to be not a lot of information about what's going on with this program online, but it's important that you sort of know what you're getting out of this authentication service and whether it actually has any true value or not. So the box just came to me like this. I'm covering up the shipping label and stuff. I've already opened it. And I've actually already seen the watch and everything. I just wanted to look at it for myself, and I left positive feedback. I'm keeping the watch. I'm happy with it. It comes with these little thank you notes with, they're like 10% off your next watch purchase on eBay. They're really trying to pimp out this whole new program and get people on board with it. So there's a few of these 10% off coupons. And then for this, it was a Rolex that I purchased. And so eBay gives you this little authentication card. Now, with Rolex people, this will mean absolutely nothing. This doesn't mean anything. For certain other brands, maybe I'm not super familiar with the culture around other brands. But as far as this is a card from eBay, and it's not gonna hold any weight in the Rolex aftermarket watch market when you go to resell this thing. Including this card with your Rolex is not going to add value to the watch. It's not going to add peace of mind to an educated buyer who sort of knows what he or she is getting themselves into. But even then, you're still reselling it after you receive this card, and they don't know what you've done to the watch in the meantime if you've been in there and you've changed parts or whatever the case may be. So this, to me, has absolutely no value whatsoever, and it's a nice little gesture, I guess, but it's ultimately kind of redundant and unnecessary. So the watch comes bubble wrapped in this box. The authentication contractor does a good job of packing this watch up. No issues there. And the watch comes, oops, so there's the interior packaging there. The watch comes in this little magnetic felt box, which is fine. And it's eBay branded. So eBay's put some money into this program. They're really trying to make it feel like a premium product, like you're buying a used watch online. But once it goes to an authenticator and is authenticated and it comes to you, it's gone through this whole repackaging process, and you've got, your card and all that stuff. They're really trying to make it kind of like an experience, I think, which is fine. It's a lot of extra stuff that makes buyers feel good when they buy something expensive online. So this is a watch in question. Your basic Datejust, this one dates to 1986. Came on the original Jubilee bracelet, or it came with it rather. So the watch comes with this no returns if removed tag. And as you can see, my tag isn't removed because I took the strap off. I took it off with my, lug bar tool, my strap bar tool, to put the original Jubilee on. This Jubilee bracelet was included in a separate little baggie inside of the box. But this original strap was on the watch. Well, it's not original, it's aftermarket, but it was on the watch when I received it. And the idea is the watch has already been authenticated. So if eBay sees that you've taken this thing off and popped the back off and tried to do anything to the watch and then return it, you're not going to get your money back. This is a bad system because not so much I think people are going to take advantage of it and try to mess up good watches. It's more for the seller, because if a buyer gets a watch and they decide to wear it for a long time or wear it to a wedding or wear it for whatever and then return it, they can keep the watch for 29 days or 30 days or whatever, and then open up a return right at the end of the buyer return policy. And it's not just limited to these leather straps. If you aren't familiar with taking straps off of watches, they all come off the same way. You take your lug strap tool to the inner lugs here, and you can pop any strap off or any bracelet off and leave this intact and just wear the watch and do whatever you want with it. I don't like this system. This is bad for sellers. This is just sort of a weak attempt at warranty voiding protection, and I think there's got to be a better way of doing it. I think eBay will change that eventually. They would have to. It just makes much more sense to do an adhesive decal that covers the case back and the case, so that if you try to remove the case back, it'll pop off. eBay is very secretive about their authentication sources. There are apparently more than one. The address that this came from was a watch shop in like Iowa or Ohio or something, and they're a factory service center for a lot of brands. Not Rolex, however, but I think a watch shop that does large volume will have seen so many of these Datejusts and classic Rolex watches like this that they more or less know what they're looking at. There's no repair, there's no cleaning, there's no servicing of these watches when you send them off to those third-party authenticators. They just look at the watch. I assume they take the case back off. I would hope they do to inspect the movements. eBay is very vague about what the inspection process is for authenticating these watches. eBay probably did vet it out to make sure they didn't go through some weird, super tiny, rinky-dink, jewelry repair shops or anything. They're going through watch retailers that deal in good volume, and they deal different brands and such. They're definitely not going through like Rolex authorized dealers or anything like that. These are independent watch stores. Don't expect any sort of servicing. Don't expect the watch to be cleaned or polished or anything. It's going to come to you exactly how the authenticator received it. And then from there, the authenticator is going to put this brilliant anti-theft tampering mechanism on the watch here. Then they do all the repackaging and all that stuff. And then it comes to you, the buyer. So this is sort of what you can expect if you buy a high-end, watch on eBay. It's going to be sent to these third-party authenticators. You're going to get a card telling you your watch is real. It's going to be repackaged and all this nice stuff. And then if you really want to authenticate your watch, you can just take your strap off and have it authenticated yourself. Look at it with your own eyes, or take it to someone you trust, or take it to an authorized dealer, whatever the case may be. What are sort of the pros of this system? If you're a first-time buyer who's been scared of spending the kind of money on eBay because you've heard, horror stories or whatever, this is just like an added layer of a peace of mind for an uneducated or inexperienced buyer of, luxury goods online. So that can have some value to someone who doesn't want to sit around and do all their homework on Rolex and learn the reference numbers and movements and what things should look like, what things to look out for. And you can just get on, buy the watch, and eBay puts their name on this saying this is real. So what are the cons? For sellers, the return protection is a joke. For buyers, you don't know who the authenticator is. You don't know how much they've gone into the authentication process in terms of opening up and inspecting the movement, or whether they just look outside of the watch. eBay is very secretive about the authentication process. How deep is it? And it may not be a free service for long, so that could be a con in the future, depending on who is charged for this, whether the seller pays for this authentication service as a courtesy, or whether the buyer has the option to pay for it at time of checkout. I think it goes without saying, I'm not affiliated with eBay or anything. I'm a guy who bought a watch online. That's pretty much it. This is what you get with the eBay luxury watch authentication service. Just be realistic about what it is, be realistic about what it isn't. Use the same common sense that you always have when buying anything online, regardless of value. And then see this as just like a nice little bonus. Hope this is helpful, and thanks for watching.